Here's a great piece of software that helps solve the training facilitator, whether live or in person's dilemma about how to leverage AI as effectively as possible. It's called Arlo, and I'm going to give you a quick sneak peek. Okay, here I am behind the scenes in Arlo. And the thing I like most about it is how easy and simple it is to use. So, for example, I come up here and I can see all events that I have scheduled. So, if I'm a stand up instructor, maybe I'm doing webinars or, a live instructor webinars, maybe I'm doing something private. I can have my templates, register my students, which, as you know, is a big deal. I can certify students and look at venues and rooms for face to face. But I also have this really nice element to do e-learning registrations, and manage my e-learning content. And you might say, well, hey, as a live stand-up facilitator person, whether it's, with Zoom or Teams or so, I might not need e-learning. But e-learning can give you a way to reach people before your live training sessions, during your training sessions, and even after. It really allows you to break down the four walls of training. And then, of course, you have a calendar. We all have to schedule our events and things like that. Of course, contacts. We have orders. If you are doing this, you need a little revenue to help pay for your services and what you're providing. So that's an important part of it. But marketing is becoming more and more important, as we know. We get reports and settings and all that good stuff. So let's take a look at actually developing a quick piece of e-learning leveraging AI. Okay, so here's how we would do it. We would click on New e-learning, and it actually asks me, do I want to create new e-learning? Of course, next. And then it wants a title. Why don't we do Action First Learning? I think that's a great topic for e-learning, and we can set prices, and we can, do things like template, and we're just going to do this quickly, so we'll hit next. And then we can say, how long is this going to be? Maybe it's a 10-minute quick micro learning. So the summary is talking about action first learning, and the description will be teaching the basic framework of action first learning. We don't have any prerequisites. We're not going to do any images right now. Let's go ahead and hit next. Okay, so we'll make this Arlo hosted, and it says, wait a minute, you don't have any content. Of course not. I'm creating new content. So I click on create new content, and it takes me to this screen where I can very easily use AI to create a course. So I'm going to go, you can do document to course. So that's what we're going to do. But you can generate a course from scratch. You can just enter in the information that you need to. You can convert an existing presentation, or you can start all over from scratch if you don't have existing content. But most trainers, if you're doing facilitating, stand up, anything, you've got content. So I've got some course material. I'm going to click document to course. It's going to tell me about how using AI, and I'm going to grab a file. Okay, there. So I've grabbed a file, and now it's going to ask me some questions. So the first thing it's going to ask me is it's going to ask me about who this class is created for. Is it beginners, intermediate, or advanced? Let's do an intermediate class. And so now it's going to associate the content with that level of learning. Then it's going to ask me, if you had to choose one phrase to categorize your audience, I'm going to say it's corporate trainers. Or I could say I'd like to type it on my own. So I kind of like that. I might say experienced corporate trainers and facilitators. Okay, so I can do that, and then I can hit submit, and it will use that information. And it's going to then ask me if I want English. My document was in English. Of course, I want English. And then once it does that, it asks me my tone. I think I want to be informal and conversational, but I could be more academic. I could be more motivational, but I think informal, or I could even do my own tone, but I'll do informal. Okay, so then it says, how many screens? Let's just do 5 to 10, keep it simple. And it gives me that information. Okay, final step. It's now time to generate and review my course. I'm going to generate the course outline. That's going to allow me then to move things around once it generates that outline. Like, I might want to move this or I might want to move that. So that gives me that opportunity. But you know what? It looks okay to me. Worst learning experience. What is action first learning? Maybe we'd kind of like the action first learning experience, but I can put that in there. Create course. Now it's going to go grab the content, grab the information, and it's going to build the course for me. as I go through that experience. So that's really kind of a nice thing where I just remember took an article that I wrote called Course Materials, and I took that article that I wrote and I simply uploaded it, and now I've got the beginning of it. I've got my worst learning experience ever. I was like to start with that real life scenario. What is action first learning? Talks about simulations. This is showing the screens that are actually building down here. I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit, but overcoming. So I have to wait till it builds out my whole element here. It even creates a quiz for me, which is fantastic. You can see where it's working here, and I can have all kinds of quiz questions that it creates, which I think is really nice and really effective to do that, so that we know that quizzing reinforces knowledge and helps us have folks that are knowledgeable and know what they're talking about when they come to our class. And so here we go. Here's the action first. I can start this course. I can then see, worst learning experience and go through this. It actually puts the content here from bullet points into kind of a accordion style. This might be a little long, so I probably would want to break this up or cut this up a little bit. Here I've got real life scenarios and just go through that, another accordion, and it gives me all kinds of capabilities. And then I can go in and edit any element I like. All I need to do is, as it says here, click done. And then I can actually go in and change the layout or edit. Maybe I'll find this one and I want to edit my action first learning techniques and make it a little bit more user friendly. So that is a quick high level demo of how you can take a document, you can pull it into Arlo and automatically have a really nice course, maybe for pre-work, maybe for post-work, maybe even to present during your session. So check it out and see what you think.